Undertale, Axiom Verge, Outbuddies. What do these amazing games have in common? They were all developed by a one-person army, proving that some of the greatest games can come from the creative mind, passion, and drive of a single individual. Julian Laufer has brought us a Lovecraftian masterpiece, an engrossing story and epic adventure that helps to set Outbuddies apart from many in its genre. Over the past 2 years, we've seen an influx of Metroidvania games, and Outbuddies takes the nostalgia and tropes you'd expect from the best in the genre and adds variety and modern gameplay design in some very fun and interesting ways. You play as Nikolay Bernstein, a maritime archaeologist and adventurer who believes the world was created by ancient beings of immense and untold power. Despite being called insane, Bernstein is determined to prove his theory and sets out for what he believes to be the cradle of mankind. The game begins with Bernstein awakening in Balam, a sunken city submerged 36,000 feet below the South Atlantic Ocean. The city is wrought with dangers, and as Bernstein traverses the undiscovered depths of Balam, he discovers the Wozan, a race of peaceful creatures who've been enslaved by ancient, tyrannical gods. Now this is just the tip of the iceberg, but I won't go much further into the story as I'd hate to spoil it for anyone. Just know there's a lot of depth to the lore in this game. The more you discover, the more you realize just how small a role you actually play in a much larger picture. Outbuddies is a Metroidvania in every way. The gameplay mechanics will be very familiar to any fan of the genre. Everything from a Samus-like space jump to morph ball, missiles, and charge beam-like power-ups are all here. You also get an Axiom Verge-like hacking ability via your robotic companion, Buddy. Hacking allows you to alter the form of enemies, which results in the ability to do a number of things, from turning them into blocks and platforms that help you progress through a room, to changing their projectiles from damage-dealing death beams into health and ammo drops. Even with all the nostalgia, Outbuddies does more than just give you what you would expect from a good Metroidvania. It adds some very important quality of life improvements, such as the ability for Buddy to scan the environment to reveal secret passages and clues as to how to deal with different enemies, as well as the ability to steamroll to avoid damage and environmental hazards such as spikes. The spider ball-like galvanizer ability also brings a unique stealth component to gameplay. Not only can you use it to roll up walls, when in the ball form you can avoid enemies by simply standing still until they pass. The underwater combat is equally as awesome and adds a fresh feel to the familiar combat loop. At times, fighting underwater felt more like an R-type-like shooter than any Metroidvania I've ever played. The game's puzzles revolve around Buddy's abilities, including his ability to use telekinesis to move objects around a room. This sounds simplistic in theory, but in action there's a lot more to it than you might first think. As you progress, you will find you'll need to combine Buddy's scanning, hacking, and telekinesis abilities with Bernstein's abilities, such as using bombs to open up paths to get an object you need from point A to point B. The map is pretty simple and easy to read, although I do wish there was a way to mark important areas you'd like to return to. But at least there's a transport system here to help you navigate the world much faster. The level design is solid, and the game does a great job of teaching you how to use your skills as you go. There are also some meaningful decisions to be made in the way of rescuing the Wozan. Secret treasure hidden throughout your adventure serve as a means of currency to offer in exchange for freeing entrapped Wozan. The thing is, you can also choose to use the currency to give yourself a temporary life boost from the Soul Leecher, a mysterious creature who offers to help but warns that accepting his gift can result in lost lives, meaning you won't be able to save all 80 of the enslaved Wozan in the game. The extra life the Soul Taker provides can prove useful in some of the extremely difficult boss battles, but you also get a health boost for every 10 Wozan you rescue, so keep that in mind. As for the boss battles, just take a look. These creatures are massive and punishing, but I never felt like I died due to some cheap mechanic or poor design choice. I always felt like dying was my fault, and once I learned the boss's patterns for each of their phases, I was able to overcome the challenge. The combat in the game is excellent and the controls are extremely tight and responsive. I've rarely felt so rewarded for my efforts in a game, and these epic battles are some of the most memorable I've ever experienced. I've really enjoyed my time with Outbuddies and am looking forward to returning to Balam soon. The game encourages multiple runs and even speedrunning by constantly showing your game time and death count in the map menu. The game is very challenging, but not cheap in any way, and it rewards you for your efforts. The lore of the world is interesting and the scale is epic. The game's atmosphere, music, and aesthetic are all top-notch and help to fully immerse you into the world of Balam. I would have liked to see a few things added, like the ability to place waypoints in your map and the ability to aim diagonally, but these are minor gripes with the game design and in no way impaired my ability to enjoy the game. This game is a must-play for any Metroidvania fan. Outbuddies is available now on Steam and is coming to the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PS4 early 2020.